All right, welcome everyone. We are in the Business Funnel Workshop, and today we're going into step one, and I'm here with my good friend and volunteer prospect, Ray Grant Walsh. Recording is on, live stream is a go, so all right. Okay, Ray, so it's we'll just say it's you and I now, and our peepers. All right, gang, so we are here now at the Explore Opportunity Gateway is what I call it. And I'm just going to move this over here.
What are you moving?
Okay. So, and Ray, did you remember to check the box that says share computer sound?
Yeah, it was there. Can you hear me?
Yep, you sound great. And we'll see if the
Okay.
videos work and everything. So just click on the watch videos. And actually, before we get into it, Ray, let me just share my story a little bit. I'll get you to click on the About tab at the top. And now I know you know, obviously, you know me, but I'll share my business story because you don't really know that. And
I don't.
yeah, so I mean, you knew that my folks have been in Shaklee for many, many years.
I did know that, yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't really explained how it all happened. So I'll kind of go way back to the beginning. So when we moved to Comox, you remember that we bought a dog kennel. And we used to own House of Dogs. Yes,
right. Okay, it's all coming back, yeah.
That's right. And so here we are. We got this dog kennel. My mom and dad bought that because we used to live up north in northern British Columbia, and they thought that the ticket to freedom was to have a business. So they bought this business thinking that would be it. Turns out they really just bought themselves a job, and their boss was the bank. And so then my grandmother and aunt came along and said, take a look at this business opportunity that we're checking out. And my dad at first thought, why? What do I need that for? Considering that I'm already, in a business. They were $750,000 in debt. And that was sort of like the last thing that they wanted. So they lured him in with a steak dinner. They said, if you come, we'll give you a steak dinner. And, just make sure Granny doesn't get, taken, ripped off. So he did. And the gentleman was doing this presentation, and he thought it was kind of boring. He's just standing there flipping the charts. But there was something that he said that really caught his attention, and that was the idea of earning royalties. Because back in the day, my dad used to go out prospecting with Grandpa, and they would sit around the campfire and tell stories. And one of them was how Elvis was still earning money, even though he had passed away years ago. So the idea of royalties kind of connected to that conversation back then when they were prospecting for gold back in the bush. So that really rung in his mind. And the gentleman said, you can learn to create this, these little kind of these little outlets all across the country. And he thought, that's a great idea. So he thought he'd take a look at it a little bit further. My mom, on the other hand, was not interested in the business, but she was interested in the products because she had really bad allergies. And, out where the House of Dogs is, they're all surrounded by all those farms. So, she got all these crazy allergies and plunked herself right in the middle of all of this hay fields. Yes. And she'd get, really like swollen face, and it was really bad. And then all of a sudden she started taking alfalfa, and it was solving it. So she loved the products, didn't want anything to do with the business. My dad wanted the business, didn't want anything to do with the products because he thought, I, get everything I need from my food. And what do I need food supplements for?
Right.
But what kind of grabbed his attention was they started washing the dogs with this Basic 8, and which was this really super concentrated household cleaner. And it worked really well. It was super, it saved him a lot of money. And so he thought, okay, there's something to this. And then mom, talked him into finally taking the vitamins. And all of a sudden, he wasn't passing out on the couch at 11 o'clock anymore like he used to. So then, fast forward a couple years, we had got our first bonus car. That's when Shaklee gave them a Toyota Celica Supra GTS, this beautiful black new car. And before then, we'd only been driving this old, we used to call it the Beater. So we'd never had a new car before. We called it a Rolls Canardly. You ever heard of that before?
No.
It rolls down one hill and it can hardly get up the next.
Oh, but bump. Jesus.
Yeah, there you go. So I know that's my big line.
Oh, that's such a groaner.
Yeah.
Jody, Jesus.
Well, actually, I got that from the school. Anyway, I won't even explain it, but why not? So we got this new car. They're traveling the world because Shackley's giving them free trips twice a year.
Right.
So obviously, it's changing our life. And so then we sold the kennels. They were going full-time into Shackley. Fast forward to me. Now I'm 18. We graduated. I can't go on the trips with them anymore. And I'm now going to work. So then I eventually got into retail after my ski business, my ski life. And, retail is working on weekends and holidays and it doesn't pay that well.
It's terrible.
And I saw Mom and Dad's life and they're at home every day.
Oops.
And here I am, grinding it out. But the real Ray was when my district manager came in and drugged me out of my store and pointed it up at the sign. And he said, this isn't Jody Locker. This is Foot Locker. So he basically stripped every ounce of creativity I had out of me. Even though I was the manager of the store, he was making it very clear, you do exactly what we say and the way we do it. And that to me that's enough. So in a few months, I had quit, moved down south to live with my brother and help him with his house, relaunched my Shackley business because I'd actually been off and on since I was 18 doing this. So now I'm 30. And that's when I just really gave it my all because now I'm living with my brother in his spare bedroom with his now ex-girlfriend who is bipolar and 14 cats. So it was like this crazy household. And then I got married. So I went to the Philippines. That's where I met Mabel, got married to her. So now I'm a married guy sitting in my brother's spare bedroom. I'm like not a good candidate for. So yeah, good for my wife for marrying me, even though.
Yeah, my pal needs a prize.
I had no job and living with my brother. So I had a lot of motivation to make this thing work. So
Country music song.
Yeah, exactly. So I built this website to really help me be able to connect with prospects because I didn't actually, I didn't have a car down there. So that evolved into what you're looking at today website-wise. And so anyways, you can see some pictures of me with the kids and whatnot. So let's click on the button at the top that says Earn Online. And maybe while we have you, just so that the listeners know kind of your story. So Ray and I graduated from high school together. And then Ray, just give us a nutshell, if you could, kind of what you did after school. And you got 2 babies now.
I do, yeah. In a nutshell, graduated, went off to Saskatchewan, lived there for a while, came back to BC, went off to Manitoba, lived there for a while, did some schooling, came back to BC, put my schooling to work, worked in as a civilian contractor for the Canadian military in their sports and fitness department, building programs for all the special or all the units of the military, special forces, SARTECs, firefighters, divers, all of them, as well as the general populace of the military. Did that. In the meantime, started a family, went on some maternity leave, went back to work, went on some more maternity leave. All the while during my maternity leave, I was working as a private contractor for another fitness company in town doing baby boot camp, so I could take my babies to work with me, which was kind of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice to be able to do that. So did that, and then did some more personal training, and then I've ended up in Dubai, where I am currently right now. My husband is a pilot with Emirates, and my boys are now 13 and 11, and I'm currently got my teacher's hat back on, and teaching my kids. I worked here as a teacher's assistant for a year and a half, I guess, and now I'm teaching them full time.
Cool. So you've really been in teaching, for years.
Oh, I've been doing lots of, not necessarily in a school setting, but lots of teaching. Right from the time I was a teenager working summer jobs, I was I was a water safety instructor. I was taught swimming lessons. So I've taught for a lot of years.
At the pool you were telling me about.
Yeah, I worked as a when I was a teenager, I worked at the outdoor pool there in Courtenay, and I did work at the indoor pool for some time, and worked at the aquatic center up the top of the hill there in town. And
right on.
yeah, so I've been in the whole teaching and health and wellness and industry for a lot of years.
Cool. Well, this might be a nice tie-in then for what you do. You're already kind of in that world.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's always good to learn about not so new, because I've known about this for a long time, but I just been on, like I was saying to you, I've just sort of been on the outside of it, right? Like I've never really dove in. So this will be good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to show you. Basically it's just kind of a fun tour to really allow you to dig in and sort of look at it from, your own perspective and see if it's a fit for you, and it may not be, or the timing may not be right or whatever, but at least you'll clearly know what it is, and then we can kind of take it from there. So
make some decisions. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Let's click to watch the videos, the big blue button there, and head on in.
Start your tour.
Yep. And let's click on that one first, and then I'll just read to you, and you just be the one flipping the slides, okay?
Okay.
All right. So just hit the next button, and when I kind of get to the end of the slide, just keep flipping. So thanks again for joining us today. We super appreciate you doing this. I'm, because this has been something that my family's done for so many years, I'm excited to be able to share it with you.
Well, and it's funny because I've known you, and I've known of your family for all the years that we've known each other, which is a lot now. And I've always ever known you to be the Shackley family. So, but not really know exactly what you do. So this is kind of cool.
What does that mean, right?
Yeah. What exactly does that mean? Yeah, they do Shackley. What's Shackley? Yeah, I don't really know.
Well, I'll finally be able to pull back the curtains.
Yeah. Here we go. Woohoo!
So let's go to the next slide. And there we go. So one of the reasons I asked you to take my tour is so you could explore the opportunity to, one, create another source of income, to work from anywhere, gain control over your life, help yourself and others stay healthy, and to discover a new possibility for getting ahead. And I think, also something that's not in here is maybe to make an impact as well. Let's go to the next one. And, Ray, share with me, if you could, on this list, what are 3 things that you would say that maybe your 3 biggest concerns? Because, I know you guys have a good job. You've got.
Yeah. I would say the first one in the first column, definitely paying for kids' college education or whatever education, furthering education they go into.
Okay.
You can always have more retirement savings, right?
Right.
And probably, we would like to do a fairly extensive renovation on the house that we have back home once we get there. So it would be nice to maybe have a little extra. We've got things in place to do that, but it's all sort of right down to it's all sort of accounted for. So it would be kind of nice to just, we want to put that fixture in there. Oh, well, it's another $1,000. Oh, here, there's an extra $1,000 here, kind of thing, right? So that would be kind of nice. So I would say that. So the first one, the paying for the education for the children, the house or car, the house renos or improvements, we'll say, and the retirement savings would, like to beef that up some more. Definitely.
And with inflation, what we have saved now may not be quite as much as we want it to be. And
well, and if you didn't maybe start as soon as you should have.
Yeah. Yeah, most of us. And when do you want to retire? How much longer do you want to? When are you going to let them retire?
Well, ideally, when we get back to Canada, it'll be some sort of semi-retirement job for him. He'll work at some sort of semi-retirement job. There's a couple of different options potentially that could be there. But yeah, I mean, he'd like to retire next year, but it's not going to happen when there's a 13 and 11-year-old around. So we'll have to just sort of play it by ear. So this, I mean, this would be something that would definitely be able to contribute to the greater good.
Mm-hmm. To that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. For that.
That's perfect. Let's head to the next slide.
Alrighty.
And so I always like to start by letting everyone know who I bring through this, that I'm not trying to sell you anything, not trying to get you in anything that you're not interested in.
Yeah,
I really just want to let you explore what we're offering, and then you can decide if there's anything for you. So no pressure at all, okay?
No, okay, thanks.
Yep, let's go to the next one. And, this really is a timing situation. That's what we find. Most people that we connect with, if there's a reason that it's not a fit, it's for timing. So if it's not a fit, totally understand. You could always maybe refer me to someone if it's not. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, just to kind of reiterate, no cost, no pressure, no risk tour. So we're really just going to have fun. Going to be in. I see this like Dora the Explorer. Backpack. So let's hit the next one. I've got a 5-year-old, so that's.
I was going to say, you have a little kid. No.
Yeah. She just heard that. So you may be wondering why explore this. Now, obviously you're not, because we've sort of discussed this, but it is pretty obvious that we need more than one stream of income to stay afloat and get ahead. And one of the thoughts that I like to share with people as well is what happens to your income if you can't go to work or don't go to work. And that's something that I want to really kind of keep your focus on. Whether it's a pandemic like we're into now, or if, God forbid someone got hurt or something like that, how would that affect your life if that came up? And that's, to me, one of the biggest things about this opportunity is you can create something that keeps paying you even if you can't always show up.
Right. So that's, I guess, my question about this is then, so for example, in this particular time of this pandemic that we're in, when the rest of the world is shut down, how does this keep generating? Because
well, it's online, so people still.
Well, but okay, so then there's still like factories that are in production, and still like those factories haven't shut down, and distribution is still carrying on, and delivery is still happening. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, because actually, and I'll share it with you in a little bit. Our CEO was able to get the distribution plant listed as an essential service.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a food product, and so that's kept them going. And then thankfully, shipping companies or whatnot are still moving product around. We've had no problems getting our product. And what's interesting is that actually we've had a 50% on average increase in the month, when everyone I know that had a job or was in most other kind of businesses earned nothing other than what the government gave them.
Okay.
So it's been an amazing help for my family. Mom and dad they had a bigger check last month than they did the month before. So that's been a real blessing.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. If it's an essential service, it really, you're covered basically, right? If it's an essential service. Yeah. Okay.
And also in your situation, traveling, you can still be in Dubai and have people buying from you in Canada and still earn income from that. Doesn't matter where you're living.
I kind of worked through that in my head about, I think, 2 slides ago. I was like, I just do this, and it could still happen in North America because it's all just with a click of the mouse and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
The thing is getting you your personal product orders, and that's some minutia we'll deal with later. I've got some ways around that, but let's go to the next slide.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, here we go.
So I really believe this opportunity is needed more today than at any other time. And it is one of the reasons why I reached out to you and to other folks that I've been reaching out to is, you can work from anywhere. It's entirely digital and it's based on consumable products, meaning something people keep eating up, month after month. And it has really a virtually unlimited demand, health, wellness, and immunity. And the health and wellness sector is going to be growing and expanding for the next 50 years or longer, which means we have the wind at our back. And that's a really important thing. And then we're in the e-commerce industry, which is booming and more resistant to market disruptions.
For sure.
So let's go to the next one. And I mean, immunity now is obviously a big wake-up call now. It's actually the challenge Shaklee has had is keeping products in stock because of the increased demand. That's a big challenge. So there's lots of ways to get into e-commerce, Ray, but they're complex and expensive, and you got to figure it out all on your own. You need big teams like what I've had to create. So I should ask, tell me your thinking on this. I mean, obviously you've probably thought of having extra income. That's why you work part-time and full-time and whatnot on the side. Have you ever thought of having an online business? Is that ever?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I've thought about, but just maybe felt a little bit intimidated by, just not knowing where to start. So something like this was really nice because you kind of feel like, I kind of feel like I'm holding your hand and you're sort of taking me along with you, right? So that kind of thing is good. Yes, I have thought of an online business of some sort, but I think the biggest stumbling block would just be my maybe lack of knowledge about it all. So something like this is a good starting point.
Cool. So you're open to it. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so. Because, yeah. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next slide. So what's really unique about this is it really, this to kind of echo what you said is, one of the challenges that you had with this kind of thing is you just didn't know where to go. So what's unique, the amount of training that we offer, the great benefits and incentives that come with it, which you'll learn more about inside my classroom. It's a turnkey business. It's really ready to go out of the box. The missing piece is the coaching. That's as long as you get someone who will kind of walk you through it, all the pieces are there. You just have to activate and get to work. And I'm not by any means trying to make this sound easy, as it's not, but it is simple. And that's, to me, the important thing. And I mean, you're a fitness instructor, so you're teaching people to do hard things all day long. So that's something that you're used to. And again, at this point, you can get paid on work you did in the past. There's a lot of ways of earning money out there, but there's not that many ways where you can get paid on something you've created. So let me give you an example. Let's say that your boys, you taught them, they go off into the working world and they became pilots or doctors or lawyers or whatever they did. And let's say then the government.
I hope they don't become pilot.
You've seen that one, right? Let's say the government gives you a couple percent of their earnings for the rest of their days because you did such a good job teaching them.
Yay me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't come out of your pocket. That's really what this is. And there's so few opportunities to have that other than, maybe real estate, right? If you build like an apartment complex, but there's hassles with that and tons of upfront investments. Another would be, if you're an actor, author, songwriter. And so that's what's really, again, that's what's stuck in my dad's brain, right? Yeah. It's also flexible, mobile. So, here I am in the Philippines, you're in Dubai, and yet we have the opportunity now to create an income, which is really, something that was unheard of in my parents' day. So let's go to the next slide. And one of my favorites is that you don't have to specialize in selling to create sales. And, I don't mind selling personally because I was in Foot Locker and shoe stores, but I like it if people come to me. But are not that fond of selling? I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? Have you ever been?
I've worked in retail. Yeah, I worked in retail, and it's depends on what type of retail you're in too. But
Right.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm the pushy here. Oh, and here you need to have this too because this will go well with that. And I'm not that. But
Right. Right.
I've been told by a couple of people that I'd make a great salesperson. But
Well, that's a compliment. That means you
I
were
guess.
super helpful.
yeah, I guess so.
Well, what's unique about this is, yes, we can focus on selling if we want and be salesy, but the way that I teach it is you'll focus on guiding and teaching, like what I'm doing with you now, just kind of like
Yeah.
moving you through information, letting you kind of ascertain if this is a fit for you. And you'll see more about how we can actually make that happen in our classroom. So head to the next slide there.
How do you feel about teaching?
How do you feel about teaching? Yeah, well,
I'm all right with teaching.
you're good to go there. So let's go to the next one.
Next slide.
So here's what we're going to do. I got a few videos that I'm going to have you watch, and just going to give you really a sort of a sneak peek about this and see if it creates, some interest in you. And if you like it, well, we'll just set another appointment tomorrow and we'll keep doing this. So let's go to the next slide. So this is what you're going to discover in our tour. A few details about Shaklee.
Okay.
A few of the benefits, and something called the Prove It Challenge. So let's hit the next slide, and then let's talk about that. So I'd like to point out why we're focusing on the Prove It Challenge for our tour. Let's hit the next slide. So today, and I have a feeling you'll agree with me on this, healthcare is really focused on sick care. And we feel it should be the reverse because, big pharma and industry, they don't really make much money if you're healthy, right? They make money if they keep you in that never-ending phase of you need another pill, you need another drug. And, and I'm not like into some big conspiracy side of things, but the reality is their shareholders make money as long as you keep taking the drug. So it's not really in their best interest to get you off of that. So together we're on a mission to change healthcare into well care. And let's explain that on the next slide. So Shaklee's been really focusing on well care for over 60 years, going back to 1915 when Dr. Shaklee created his first product. And this is why they call this the challenge, is the products have been proven to make a dramatic impact on people's health. And I'm actually living proof, and I even have this cool little medal that Shaklee gave me because I've been in the business for so long. But let's go to the next slide. And so they've really actually been able to prove their products work with research using both double-blind clinical studies. Are you familiar with that term?
I've heard it in the past, yeah. You can just refresh my memory.
Sure. So it just means that the doctor doesn't know what they're giving them, the patient doesn't know what they're getting. So there can be no sort of placebo effect. It's the best science available, and it's done on human beings, not on animals. And then something called the landmark studies. Now this one is really important, which I'll get into more later, but I'll just kind of nutshell it for now. In that Shaklee went out and asked a prestigious university to do what's called an epidemiological study, if I got that right, on basically a group of people that have been using their products over the last 20-something years. So they did. Now here's what's important, is that Shaklee had no control over the results. So if it turned out that actually the study showed that there really wasn't any difference from people taking their products, Shaklee couldn't prevent that from getting into the public domain, which would have been, bad for them, right? So, so this was really an important study, and they've done 2 of them now. And for me, one of the most sort of impactful results is the lower level of medications. As you can see on the little chart on the side, people in their 20s to their 40s, like 97%, but check out the one in the 60 plus category. They say, I think it's an average of like 15 people or 15 drugs that people over 60 are on. It's like ridiculous. And it's one drug to combat the next drug that makes sure that drug doesn't have a side effect with that drug. And so And I'll get into more of that into module 3. But so Shaklee's going out and they're challenging people now to really prove it for themselves with a campaign called the Prove It Challenge. It's kind of like, it's like me. I know I know the results I've had with Shaklee, and people don't necessarily believe me. So it's kind of like, you know what? Don't believe me. Just try it yourself. See if you can prove it. And that's really the essence of it. So let's go to the next slide. And this campaign is important because it really makes it simple for you to introduce the prospects or to introduce the products to your prospective clients. Because, you're going to be looking at this from 2 perspectives. One is, do I want to buy this stuff myself, right?
Well,
and another is, are these products actually, is this, can I get this to market? Is this something that's going to be simple for me to actually make as a business to work? And so the Prove It Challenge is kind of like the spearhead of a way to get people to start trying a food supplement program where, a lot of people never tried shakes and vitamins. That's a big ask. And I should ask you take food supplements at all? Shakes? Have you ever taken vitamins?
Nothing.
Okay, so
when I was pregnant, I was taking my multivitamin and my folic acid and all that kind of stuff. But no, I've never been one to take pills. I don't take pills well. I don't.
You're like my
up
wife.
Until I'm a little bit more open to this now, but I would say up until at least probably 18 months ago, maybe 12 months ago, I was of the mindset, like, I don't like to drink my meals. I like to eat my meals. So the idea of waking up and having a shake for breakfast or having a shake at lunch was like, blah. No, I want a chocolate milk shake if I'm going to have a shake.
Yeah. You said 18 months ago. So what was the flip? What has changed for you?
I don't know. I think age and stage of life and just longevity of wanting to be healthy and for as long as I possibly can. And maybe there is some science behind it, and it's proven. And you hear all kinds of, like, I'm sure you're aware of Isogenics and it's push and but it's like, okay, I need some science behind this and what's going into these products. And so I've been doing like a little bit of dabbling, if you will, but I haven't actually bought a protein or like a shake or meal replacement or anything like that. So with this Prove It, so is this something that you would send out as a, here, try this, or do you have to pay for that, or like, how does that work?
Right. So they buy it, and then if they don't like it, they get their money back. And Shaklee's really good with the guarantee, no questions asked.
Okay.
So you could kind of think of it like a test that you pay for. And if they love it, then they just keep on moving forward.
Sure.
And
okay.
So Ray, I was of the same mindset as well. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. Because I was doing weight loss I still am, and I really need to get back on it. Over the last 2 months, it's not been helpful for me. Stuck at home, but we'll get more into that. I'm just glad to hear that you're open. That's really the main thing.
Okay.
Let's head to the next slide. So with all this said, I want to make this really clear to you, is that this is not a business where we are out selling Shaklee products, even though it could be if you wanted it to be that, but that's not what I'm going to teach you. So the question would then be, well, what are you doing? Well, actually what I'm doing right now, which is just kind of like walking you through information, letting you see if it's a fit, and then letting you make a choice. And you'll see how this kind of rolls out. So let's go to the next slide. And again, the main thing I want you to think about while we're going through this tour over the next 3 days, well, the next 2 more days, is if you could address the concerns that we talked about earlier. So, saving more money for college education, in the retirement savings, and then renovating the house. Could you see yourself doing what I'm doing now? So basically, I'm sitting on my computer, having a conversation with people that I like, right? And just showing them stuff, guiding them through websites. If that's kind of a workflow that you like, then that's the way I want you to look at this. Because you're not necessarily going to be, I guess the main thing is don't get into the kind of minutia. Some things you may be not so sure about all that. It's more focus on, do I like this kind of job? Do I like the idea of doing what Jody does? And that's really the key. So let's go one more slide.
Start it.
Right. So let's hit the Start Exploring. Just hit the back button on your browser up at the top left of your screen there. And then we're going to go down and let's click on the next one, which is, wait for a moment though. Let me just give you kind of an intro with Roger. So this is our CEO, and he actually bought Shaklee in 2004. And he's really an amazing man. He's a philanthropist, speaks many languages. He's really sees ahead into the future. And now I've been on a lot of teams, Ray, and I personally, and maybe you've discovered this as well, but the team is largely as good as its leader. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a great leader that's got a good vision, direction, keeps unity, things like that, it's really important. So I want you just to kind of see this video from that perspective. And he's going to share a really important message on the current stimulus plan. And there's a few sort of points that he'll say about that it's our time to serve. And I feel that that's important. Let's click on it and watch it, and let's see what you think about it.
The headlines of the spread of the COVID virus, and so many of us are fearful and anxious about our health, but also increasingly people are fearful and anxious about what's going to happen to their jobs. Millions of jobs are being eliminated, and people are rightfully worried about what and where they're going to have the income to provide for themselves and their family. And this is a moment in time that our company is designed to serve. For the last 60 plus years, we are been in the health and wellness business. Our founder, Dr. Shaklee, invented the multivitamin more than 100 years ago, and we have pioneered so many of the advances in nutritional supplementation with an incredible set of products that are safe, proven, and guaranteed to help you live a healthier life. But we also pioneered a business model which has paid out more than $9 billion to families like yourself who are watching this. And this business opportunity is more needed today than at any other time. And the reason is that you can work from anywhere. It's entirely digital, and it's around products that is virtually unlimited in the demand, health and wellness and immunity. And we feel this is a moment that we can truly serve as a company the needs of tens of millions of people. And so we've just launched the Shaklee Stimulus Plan, which guarantees $1,000 of income to new people if they do certain activities. And in addition to that, we provide training and support and a pathway for you to own a business that can provide income today, but also a business that you can build over time, that you can pass along from one generation to another. So I hope you join us and help other people become healthy through our clinically proven, safe, effective, and guaranteed health products. And also share the idea that you can own and build a business working entirely from home in a digital manner. Our business right now, the demand is unprecedented, and we've had unprecedented growth, and we want to share this with others. So I'd love to be your partner in helping you build a wellness business in a digital way where you can work from anywhere and provide wellness for all. Thank you.
Cool. What's your takeaway from that? What do you like best about what he said there?
Probably that he's creating like a stimulus plan, right? So there's incentive for you if you do some certain things, but right. you do those certain things with guidance and with support and with some help. So you're not going, oh geez, I got to make this. I got to do this, but I have no idea how to do it. Right. But so I'm not gonna earn my money or whatever the case is. So I think that's probably it.
Cool.
And just the fact that people are more and more conscious of their health, and they want to be healthy. And in this time, in this pandemic, they realize, we really need to be mindful of our health. So that's probably what I would take away from it.
Okay, right on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just hit anywhere outside of the box and that'll go away. And then let's go to the next one. And this one here is neat because Harper and Ryan, they were in the business, I think, about 10 years, and they just sort of were, farting around with it, kind of like a cat plays with a toy. And then they got serious about it and have grown themselves a really nice, solid career income. And let's hear their story.
I'm Ryan Guerra.
I'm Harper Guerra.
We're from Chicago, Illinois.
And we're master coordinators. That was fun.
We're going to do that again.
I'm tight. Ready? All right, here we go.
For a long time, it was very hobby effort, hobby pay. And so we didn't see the full vision of what was possible. And then we went to a conference and we saw that Shaklee could be the vehicle to do more.
In the 5.5 years since we really made a commitment to grow our business, we have been able to have you come home, be home with our kids. And as we've done that, your income, I think, is more than tripled from your prior full-time job. So that's been really awesome to see that and to see how that's changed our life.
It hasn't just been that, but it's been trips and experiences that we've been able to give our kids and that we've been able to have that we wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to do. And at the second leadership level, we started receiving a car payment. We were able to get a car that fit our family's needs, but it's all a part of this rewarding lifestyle. And a rewarding lifestyle isn't cars and it isn't trips. It is really the ability to change other people's lives through health and through financial opportunity and just to see in our own life.
And knowing that there's such a small difference between so many people being in debt and not meeting their expenses each month to earning $300 or $400 or $500 a month, and that can completely change a family's not just financial situation. I think you talked a little bit about health, and health is not just health. Like money is not just money. Like when you change somebody's financial picture, even by $300 or $400 or $500 a month, that can completely change the trajectory of their family.
Like, I don't remember when we found out we qualified for a trip, but I remember when we found out a couple on our team had qualified to go to Machu Picchu, which was something that was on her late father's bucket list. Like, I remember that. We are so thankful. Like, we are so thankful to be part of something bigger than ourselves, to be able to live out our values and priorities on a daily basis and see the good that we are doing in the lives of other people. And like Dr. Shaklee said, like, I want a company that improves the lives of everyone it touches. That's what we get to do. And how wonderful is that? To be able to, that what you do, I mean, is making a difference for people all the time.
Right on. What did you like about that one?
Oh, just, I think within the helping people make a difference for people to help them live their best life.
Yeah, I like the way she shares how she doesn't remember when she got qualified for the trip, but she remembers when her team did, which I think that's kind of neat. Cool. Let's go to the next one and hit on the Prove It Challenge. This one is kind of a montage of people that have done well. And one thing that's meaningful to me a little bit is that I actually, the gal that's in the image, and you'll see her, I think Lale is how you say it. I met her in Vegas. We were just walking in the hall. There's this girl sort of standing there staring out, and we just started striking up a conversation. And now, she had just started Shaklee, and now here she's in this video and winning. And so I think that's kind of cool. So let's watch this one.
This is our Shaklee story.
The Prove It Challenge makes it easier for new Shaklee distributors to make a good amount of money right when they start off.
I think we should just start with the basics right now.
And you want them to succeed because their success is your success. When you're just naturally recommending something, people are like, oh, you're such a good saleswoman. I'm like, I'm actually not a good saleswoman. I just speak from my heart, and I just speak my truth.
It's very fulfilling that I can help other people feel better and do it around my busy life. Shaklee's proved that these are products that work and they're safe. The Prove It Challenge is a great starting point, especially for distributors getting started. We want to say, prove it to yourself that if you make some changes, we believe you'll feel better. You do this, and then people start with the Prove It Challenge themselves. When people do trust you, then they trust what you represent.
You are rewarded for sharing the Prove It Challenge. And then that's where you get somebody through the door. And then from there, it's giving people service, showing them how this will be a lifestyle change for them forever. If you help them lose 20 pounds, it'll be life-changing for them.
So you're just posing?
If you put in the work, you can run a multi-million-dollar business from your home. You can travel the world. You get your car paid for. It's awesome.
When the Prove It Challenge came along, the whole presentation got me excited, and I saw my people, their eyes lit up, and they're like, wow.
People see that as something that they can do. They don't have to pressure themselves. They don't have to be some superhero out there. The emphasis is, what can we do to help you be better, healthier, and have a better lifestyle than what you have now?
People's life transformed. Because of that, I feel like Shaklee really get my fullest potential out of me.
When I started sharing, I wanted to tell my story, and if I could get a few people on board, that was great. I thought, you know what, why not? What have I got to lose? The day I remember calling my leader and telling her that I had effectively replaced my full-time income with my Shaklee income. My husband and I never imagined a business building. When Prove It Challenge came out, it was so awesome to see all of these products in one place. The bonuses that we now receive have really made a difference in watching our dreams become a reality. I have some casual distributors that their car needed repairs and they were not sure how they were going to be able to afford that. They committed to really promoting the Prove It Challenge. In 1 month, they ended up earning bonuses that covered the repairs. And that to me is proof that at any level, this Prove It Challenge system will benefit you. It's streamlined. It's beautiful.
Shaklee gives you the American dream opportunity because we lived it.
What are you passionate about? What do you love doing?
When you become a part of Shaklee, you become a part of the family, and they treat you as such.
Thank you, Shaklee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shaklee family.
Thank you, Shaklee family. Thank you, Shaklee family.
Yeah, they're a little happy there at the end.
They're very happy.
It's funny because I've brought so many people through this and watched the video, and some people say, well, it's kind of glossy or everyone's so perfect as they seem so happy or whatever, but I've actually met almost everyone in all these videos. And so it is kind of neat. I'm able to see it from the reality of everyone who's winning didn't get there without some pain. We'll put it that way. Some blood, sweat, and tears. But you can't really put that in a video. So,
you know what? It would I think in a way it would be a little more realistic for people to see, to hear, right? You know what? It didn't happen like this overnight. So don't expect that it's going to be like this overnight. Be prepared to put the work in, and right. How much work you're going to have to put in. It depends on how much you want to get out of it and that kind of thing. But, there's definitely things in place for the work to be done. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. And that's where we as guides really come in. Is our job is to kind of fill in the gaps around the videos like that. To kind of help to people to realize that, I know this looks amazing, but there's some reality to this, and that it's going to take some work, some sweat equity. But if you stick with me, I can help you get there. I can't guarantee how long it would take, but I can guarantee if you will do these things, it will work because I'm living proof. So now this next video is really a powerful video because you saw a little bit of her in the previous video, but Nari Vin she's from Cambodia, came into the US when she was 12, had never even seen a mirror before. And she was so poor, came into the States with nothing. and had grown. And, you know, she'd got into business and I think got into restaurants or something like that, and then lost that due to like embezzlement from her staff and some other bad stuff. And then she was overweight, bad health, and then found Shaklee and really had a significant turnaround. And I like to share her story because, for one, her daughter paid for her Harvard education using Shaklee. She was building her business on the side, which I think is pretty impactful for students not coming out of school, no debt. And she also, she goes on live and she'll be like skipping rope, doing live streams, you know, so she's living what she talks about. So let's watch this one. This one's, I think, powerful.
We had just lost everything. We moved to Long Beach and we lived in a 1-bedroom that we couldn't afford. For like bonding time, we would come out and sit on the stairs here. And she would look up and she would say,
I want to live here. And Tiffany said,
I said, I'll buy you a cardboard box. That's the only way we can afford it. She made it happen within 24 months.
Shaklee make our dream come true. When times get tough, I gotta be tougher. When I look back to the journey of my life in Cambodia, living under the tree, had no food to eat, you gotta learn how to survive with bare hands.
I couldn't imagine how scary it was to come to America and to have nothing.
When my health failed, that's when I lost everything. If I'm healthier, I could start it all over again. Someone introduced me to Shaklee, and I feel better and I got healthier.
She looked completely different. She was glowing and she was like so energetic and passionate and happy.
When I look at the Shaklee products and the opportunity, I feel like this is it. This is my home.
When I got into Harvard, I was like, Mom, I need help paying for school. So my mom said she would help me for my first semester if I did Shaklee. 3 months later, people started to see the transformation in me. I had more energy, I felt better. It was natural. And then I just started to learn. What got me was that Shaklee had the philosophy and a commitment to integrity. And that's where I decided I want my name to be affiliated with Shaklee, that it matters. I get to learn from what my mom has done and take it even further.
If you have a dream, dream big. If you fall, you get up, you do it again.
My mom is living proof that anything is possible. That's what I learned.
Yeah, I love that one.
That's a good one.
This next video that we're going to go to is with Robin May Reeves. And actually, she's with us. I don't know, Robin, if you could come on camera just for a moment now. She's, there's Robin. Hey, Robin. Maybe Robin could even unmute. Hey. Oh.
I can, yeah.
Hey.
God, I would have put some makeup on if I knew you were going to call on me. Hi, Ray. How are you?
Hi, very well. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
Well, we're just keeping it real here.
Yes.
So,
yes, we are.
And I think, you know, for me, Robin's story is so special because she's actually 5 generations in Shaklee. And something that for you to think of, Ray, is that not only could you build something that could help you guys now, but wouldn't it be neat if your boys could take over the business, you know, have an asset that you've developed for them that would earn them an income that way? And maybe, Robin, if you could just really quickly share what it's meant for you to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of one of those things that I didn't know I wanted. And it's touched, it's been 33 years since I took over my grandmother's business. And it's touched my family's lives in more ways than I can even, you know, if I could spend a day with you, then we could talk, or maybe over a bottle of wine. But yeah, it's been really remarkable what it's provided, and not only with the health aspect and things that I have learned over the years, but also with personal development, and then the freedom, really the financial freedom to be able to do some of the things that I never really thought we'd have an opportunity to do. So, and because of the organization that we have, and I get to, it's gonna go on as long as Shaklee's around. Our organization is going to go on to my kids and grandkids, and now I have even a great-granddaughter on the way. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it is really remarkable, and in this particular time, I'm so present to. I've never been as grateful as I am now for our Shaklee business.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
And you noticed, your group also noticed a bump from during this pandemic, and I don't say this in any way to be boastful, but to be just thankful. How appreciative that we've had something like this. And I think to use it as an example to say, hey, this might come around again. So let's build something so that if it does, you've got, for those who aren't able to work, they've got something there. So let's watch Robin's video. And now that you've been able to see the real person, so you can put something to it. Awesome, Robin.
Thank you very much, and we hope that the following message will be of sufficient importance for you to really take home and digest. I'd like at this time to introduce Dr. Forrest Shaklee.
Greetings, friend. I'm going to talk on the birthplace of success. The question is always put to us in one form or another. Why are Shaklee products so outstanding? The only answer that I can give to, they are outstanding because the creator of these products, nature.
Everything seemed dead wrong, you wouldn't be listening to what I have to say today. 2, 1.
What do you think about that one?
It's glitzy and glam. No, it's good. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, there's some power behind that.
Yeah, but the thing that keeps rolling through my mind, and maybe this is what has sort of stopped me up until this point, maybe, is how what am I trying to say? How do you, is it, I guess you don't need, like, if somebody is ready to jump on board here, you don't need to convince them, do you? Like they're ready to start with the health changes and that kind of thing. They're in a stage of change that they're ready to make. Because my thinking is like, how do you recruit these people? Hey, do you want to try this product? But really, they're coming to you, aren't they?
Well, just keep thinking, what have I done with you?
Yeah.
And we're not at a stage yet to answer that question.
No.
So just more kind of go with me on this, and I will answer that.
Okay.
Okay. The main thing is this creating curiosity in you? Are you seeing something for you? That's really what this is about.
Absolutely, for me. But like what you've done for me, a part of the reason that this has been as enjoyable as it is, I think, Jody, is because of our long-standing history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just wondering if I can get Joe Public, person that I don't know, to feel the same way, as fired up, as intrigued, as supported, as all those things, right? So anyway, that's maybe something to look at a little bit later on, but that's sort of what's rolling through my head when I look at these videos. It's like, how do you get these people? Well, they must be in a stage of change where they're like ready to. You know, you're right though, Ray, that they are in a place where they're open, and if the timing is right, remember how I said in the beginning, it's about timing. If you connect with them and invite them to take a look, when the timing is right, it's a fit. If it's not a fit, absolutely.
Then
well,
they
that's
just
and Jody,
forward.
that's the same principle with any kind of athletic, personal training, any sort of health thing. They're like those 7 stages of change. You know, where your first stage is like, yeah, I should do something about it, but not today, maybe tomorrow. Then you go from there, and then you go all through them. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, well, they're obviously in a place where they're like, right, now I need this, I'm ready to do this. So now I just need to take this next step. And maybe it's something like what you've done for me, and say, okay, come here. I'm just gonna come here. Just there's no pressure. Don't feel pressured. I'm just gonna show you. Come here. You'll be all right.
that's what it's about. Yeah, because people are skeptical. They're afraid. There's so many, and there's different personality types. There are people that didn't know they were open, but when they didn't know there was options. They're walking around in the world thinking like this is as good as it's going to get, and then suddenly you parachute into their life and show them there's this new thing. Mm-hmm. Some people are completely closed, and they'll be negative and nasty. But there's not very many of them. If you do this right, you will find those folks just sort themselves out. They just go away on their own. And that's what I love about this process, is it allows people to peak and then bail if it's not a fit. And you're left with the golden nuggets.
Okay.
So let's hit the next one, and then let's watch Robin's story. This is who we just spoke with a moment ago.
Spoke with Robin.
Yeah.
In 1964, my grandmother was living in Porterville, California. It was a hot summer day, and she saw a gentleman out in front of her house. She thought, I should go outside and give this gentleman a glass of water. And little did she know that he had been there to introduce Shaklee to her next-door neighbor. That day was a turning point for my grandmother. It's certainly a turning point for my family, although we didn't know it yet. So that was the beginning for us. Mom and Dad, 2nd generation, me, 3rd generation. And then for me to continue it, I feel a real responsibility and an obligation to do that, to continue my grandmother's legacy for my children and my grandchildren, who are now 5th generation. They say with the network marketing business that you do the work once, and then you benefit from the residual income for a lifetime. From 1964 till the time that my grandmother passed away in '86, 22 years, she had built up a beautiful business, a beautiful organization of people from all over the country. Hey, Julie, hi! That were as passionate about Shaklee and the products and the difference that the business model made in people's lives. I still have customers who knew my grandmother. They've been customers for 50 years. And they still call me, and they still place orders. All right, good. You can't put a price on that. No. It's beautiful. Okay. We really do stand on the shoulders of my grandmother, who started all this. I want to leave this catalog with you. I mean, it's truly a legacy that she was able to leave for her family. And because I inherited the business, I felt an obligation to have it support financially the rest of my family. We've been able to help with a down payment for my daughter's house.
Come on, Grandma.
My granddaughter, we gave her a choice of high schools. She chose a private all-girls school here in Sacramento. And it really provided an extraordinary foundation for her to go off to college. We have our home in Sacramento, and then about 4 years ago, Carl and I were able to purchase a second home up in the mountains in Somerset, just above beautiful Amador wine country. We wouldn't have been able to do that without Shaklee. So when I start thinking about all of the things that our business has been able to give my whole family, we're very blessed and very grateful. That's a beautiful Shaklee effect.
I love to share that one because Robin's obviously special to me, and I went and met her when I was in San Francisco last year, and we went out and had had some lunch, and this is the same gal, down to earth, and yet when I went to Vegas, her name is like one of the top people when I was there at one of the gala events or whatever. So I don't know, I find that kind of neat. Somebody who's like a top person in Shaklee, and yet they're just real. You can meet with them, lunch with them. It's just normal. So that's kind of cool. So let's click outside of that. I'm just going to answer a couple questions have asked me. Ray, Diana was asking, would you normally show so many videos in this process? And it all depends on your prospect. Ray is obviously being very kind to me and allowing me just to really, share the whole story with her. And so you guys need to pick and choose whether you do or you don't. I wanted to allow Ray to see the variables, because there's different people. Robin's story is based on multi-generations. Tiff and Neri are, they're a minority, and yet came from nothing and grew something. So there's a reason for everything. So that's why I decided to share this. And it also helps Ray. If Ray ever decided to do this, Ray knows I could pick on some of these stories and utilize this myself to grow, so that these are pieces for her. So I'll ask this. Are you intrigued? Do you feel like continuing the tour?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great. And of course, we're going to pretty much wrap it up for today, but let's just tie it up by doing this. Let's click on the continue tour button down at the bottom. And then, so what's going to happen here is when you I'm going to have you create an account, and you can access my classrooms, and we're going to go through the benefits, how it works, and then the products. And when you do that, Ray, you're going to be actually put on my weekly wellness updates and my monthly newsletter, as it says here on the screen. And there's really 3 benefits for this. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that. One is by you getting on my weekly emails and my monthly newsletter and getting access to my wellness center, you'll be able to learn more about the products, which is obviously important. You'll see what's available to you as a distributor. So you've got a tool set right there for you to educate your clients. And also, knowledge is power. It helps you learn from a consumer perspective, as well as, you'll have more informed decisions about this opportunity. So let's get you to fill in your name and email, etc., and then just create a password. And nobody's going to see the password you created. It'll just come out as black dots. And use something that's very easy for you to remember. And then just click I'm not a robot.
Yeah, hold on. Safari created a strong password for this website. I was trying to decide if I'm going to use that one or if I'm going to make up my own. I mean,
you can just say use it, because that way it'll remember it for you. Yep.
Yeah, I will. Yep.
And then hit take free tour. And then just hang in there, and it'll take a moment. Now, gang, just so you all know, if somebody was already in your wellness center, you'd already added them to your newsletter, they don't need to create their account. They'll just log in from what you would see below. Let's just try this. Click on the login. It's like it's created but hasn't pushed it through. Just click on the login at the very bottom. As I'm showing on my end that it's there. Just put in the email and password you just used. Yay.
There we go.
Perfect. Well, that's good, everyone. You got to see the workaround behind that. All right. So this is all we're going to do now is I'm going to get you to see where it says join Explore Opportunity Group. There's a couple reasons why I'd recommend you do that. One is, click on that. It helps you kind of explore this on Facebook. So you can see other content that we put in. You get to see social proof, other members that are also exploring this. just click join group. And then this is where we live stream content that's related to educate a prospect. Just put in Jody as the how did you hear about this. Just put in Jody Stieg. There you go. And then submit that. And this will be a tool for you to also use where you can invite prospects into this educational zone where they could learn, so that again, if the timing isn't right, they're always able to access information, and kind of so when the timing is right, you're still there. And that's really the key behind this, is that this is it's a cycle, it's a process. So this is a supporting tool in that. Let's go ahead and just go ahead.
And this is all strictly on Facebook. The group's called Explore the Opportunity. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. Yep. So when we live stream, we do every second week we do what's called a sneak peek, where we will interview someone who's having success. It'll be in here. If we have webinars, it'll also be in here and stuff. And so you'll learn more about that a little bit later. Yeah. Let's just hit the all modules. Go back to that. It'll be one tab to your left in your browser tabs there. Just hit the module tab or close this module out or this tab out. It'll be right in the center tab there.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's it. Oh, that was, sorry.
No, that was the wrong one.
We wanted to go to. Okay, so just try it again. It's okay. Type in jodystieg.com.
Yeah.
There you go. And then you'll see right there, it'll say or log in underneath the click to watch videos. And you're in. Cool. Now, this is the only thing that we're going to do. And then tomorrow, we're going to continue on with the modules 1, 2, and 3. And that's where I'm going to really explain how all this fits together, okay? Is at the top where it says webcast replay. That's a longer version that if you're in the mood for it, it's about 16 minutes. It's just the longer version of Roger sort of explaining the stimulus plan. It does end in June, but there is time to make it work. So that's just something for you to see if you feel like looking at it a little deeper, okay? And that is the first session. So I'll just stop our share and bring it back to just us here. And yay! We did it. So thanks, Ray. That was awesome. Yeah, some very pertinent questions. I think these are, hopefully everyone was able to, now they know how to address those kind of questions. I mean, you know, you were really is exactly what I wanted you to be, which was just real. So, you know, love you for that. And I appreciate everybody being here today. And Ray, we'll see you same time tomorrow, and we'll go into modules 1, 2, and 3, okay?
We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. All right, Joe. Take care, everybody.